All right, fight fans, our fourth bout of the evening. 4 rounds of boxing in the light heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the black and red trunks. He weighed in at 172 pounds. He's a 21-fight pro, fighting out of Atlanta, Georgia. Joseph, the Spider Benjamin. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, he's wearing the black trunks with red and silver. He weighed in at 178 pounds. He is a 6-fight mixed martial arts veteran. Tonight, he makes his boxing pro debut. From Tulsa, Oklahoma, Joshua Iron T. Fountain. Referee Brian Stutz with final instructions.
Named Chris Jordan. We've seen some wonderful fights here, Chris. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, they have been very exciting so far, and we're about to see a couple guys. I know one is a debut, but he has some MMA experience. His name's Joshua Fountain.
I did speak with Josh earlier, Chris. He did. He said he had an MMA background, and he's anxious to see how that translates into the boxing world. Now, he's fighting, ironically, a pretty experienced fighter with a record of 1 win, 18 losses, 1-18-2, but that doesn't always tell the story. A win-loss record, does it, Chris?
No, it does not. What I have noticed about Mr. Benjamin is he has some awkward head movement. I've seen him a lot with his hands down, but he'll go real low, and he'll make you miss at times. It's kind of awkward to fight him.
Chris, I've seen him fight as well, and that's one thing we haven't seen tonight, a lot of head movement and defensive fighting. It looks like they call him Spider. It looks like Spider, Joseph Benjamin, is a counterpuncher.
Yes, I agree. I think he's just waiting on the more inexperienced Fountain to come in and trying to counter the shots.
But Chris, I know you've owned a gym and you've done both, a little bit of the MMA and boxing. Can you tell us a little bit, what are the difficulties when you transition like this?
Well, just from sparring people in MMA, I know sometimes when they get in trouble, they tend to try to shoot for your legs, which I've had some experience with, but hopefully that won't be the case tonight. If Mr. Fountain can keep his composure, I think it should be a good fight. It looks like they're both throwing a lot of punches, and the action seems to be getting on right now.
Spider with some fancy footwork in there. I don't know if it's tactical or it's just showing out for the crowd. Either way, at least it's giving him a little bit of movement. Oh, nice left hook by Spider.
Yeah, good counter.
Good body move. Chris, if he keeps ducking his head that low, I can promise you here in Georgia, they'll warn you if you duck your head below your opponent's knees. Cause some nasty headbutts.
Yeah, and I had a little bad luck on the last one. I took my head down and I got caught with some uppercuts, and I paid for it with a cut over my nose. So hopefully Mr. Benjamin will keep his head up and not fall in for that right uppercut, which he just got caught with recently.
Wow, great right hand by Joshua. The Oklahoma boy is coming here to fight in Atlanta. I tell you, he looks like he's in shape. Well, both fighters are in great shape. They both look strong, look like they're ready. It looks like 2 different weight classes almost here, though, Chris.
They are. Mr. Fountain does look like he's a little bit bigger, but
more on the light heavyweight side. And
yes,
Joseph Benjamin looks like he's around 168.
Yes, he does.
Spider is cautious, waiting his opportunity against the bigger Joseph. Fountain backs off. Nice counter right hand by Fountain. He's got the Spider in the corner, which is where I think he needs to be. A bigger man needs to use his body.
Yes, he does.
Great first round there, Chris. I think that gives us a little versatility in all these fights. We've seen just barroom brawls. That looked a little bit more of a tactical fight with 2 former MMA fighters.
It did. I think Mr. Fountain was thinking a lot in there, which is good. He was taking his time. He looks like he's kept his composure throughout that first round, and hopefully he'll have some more action for us in this second round.
Now, Chris, we know you've just recently fought here in the Georgia Boxing Championships, and it was a close fight. Could have gone either way. I saw the fight. He was a pretty crafty southpaw.
Yes, he was.
And we've seen some right-handers fight southpaws tonight. What advice would you give to a young fighter when fighting some of these southpaws?
Well, I would say, the looping right hand, worked for me on a couple occasions, but the one thing that my opponent had, Mr. Rankin, was he had a lot of speed, and it was hard for me to really see that, the punches coming. So I think the speed will pretty much dictate a fight. If a guy's got a lot of speed, it's hard for a guy to brace himself or slip or dip out of the way because it's there before he can think. So I think working on the speed would be a great asset for a fighter.
There he is, speed kills and positioning, being in the center ring, getting off first, and punching in combinations.
That's right.
Fountain versus Benjamin here. Joshua Fountain. Locked up, referee warns both to break up. Fountain, 28 years old, against I think a little bit older Joseph Benjamin. Both of them are been around for a little while in the fight world, but they're both fighting pretty cautious fights.
Yes, they are. The head movement of Mr. Benjamin, I can see, is throwing Mr. Fountain off. He's missing with that right hand.
Nice right hand by Fountain.
Yes.
He's a big boy. Trained out of Sam Adams Gym in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa boys can, a lot of times they've got a good chin and they come to fight. I'll tell you what. Not necessarily always the best tactical fighters, but I can promise you one thing, they're there to fight.
Yeah, and they're fun to watch too.
I'll tell you that the Oklahoma boy, Tulsa boy, he just needs to use his body, his strength, and his size. Just make this a brawl.
Yeah, he is trying to turn it into a brawl. Joseph Benjamin seems to be keeping his composure though, so it's kind of working out for him.
Joseph Benjamin, background in MMA, more left-handed. He squares up a lot, moves, got good head movement. He's more of a defensive fighter, I would have to say.
I would have to agree with that. He's kind of waiting on Joshua to come to him.
And Chris, as a bigger man fighting a smaller man that's a counter puncher, I would have to coach my fighter to be the aggressor, be the bigger man in the ring, be the bully, and let's make this a brawl and don't give this young man a chance to breathe.
I agree with you. I think he should pressure him.
Pressure, timing, and distance. Joseph Benjamin, Joshua Fountain, Georgia Boxing Championship here in Atlanta. Sports Fan Properties and Shea Bailey Promotions present wonderful, wonderful, wonderful fights this evening. Second round here in our fourth bout of the evening. The referee didn't break them. I don't know why neither fighter's engaging. That's a dangerous amateur move there, I'll tell you.
I'm surprised.
End of the second round. I don't think, I know the crowd's booing. They're used to seeing fireworks, but I like seeing a fight like this sometimes.
I do too. They were throwing some hard punches, landing hard punches. I saw some right hooks, some body shots that really affected one another. I think they're throwing some hard shots. I'm really surprised. I haven't seen one of them go down. I do say that I do love this venue. I think Greg Barkoff and Shea Bailey do put on a great, classy show. I'm glad to see you again, Preston.
Yeah. Well, we were having a great time here, Chris, and we really enjoyed watching you fight on that last show. You had a really tough opponent. He was strong, he was fast, and southpaw, and it just could have gone either way. But I think you're right. A couple times you did not realize your head had gotten so low.
Yeah. And
it just opened you up for an uppercut.
It was certainly a learning experience for me. Hopefully, I will learn from that and try to take the next one to a higher level, and hopefully they'll have me back on their next show.
I don't see a reason why they wouldn't. Wow, and the Spider comes out with a Spider-Man tactic, trying to jump on his opponent.
Oh, in the clinch.
Fountain comes out. When he gets tired, he's resorting to a little of the MMA, the wrestling and pushing. Spider gets caught with a right hand there.
Nice right hook in the clinch.
The Fountain and the Spider, Bull and the Matador here in Atlanta. We got a chess match here against
Preston, I would like to see maybe one of them try to establish that jab a little bit and give a little more movement. But I'll tell you what, this action is better, even better than just the jab and movement. It really gives the ticket buyers their money's worth.
I agree. I think a good jab by either fighter could be a difference in the fight. Just some nice points.
Yeah.
When you have a guy like Benjamin who's moving his head like that, what I've oftentimes done, and I've seen coaches tell their fighters is aim at the chest, throw a jab at the chest, hit the center of the chest, and he'll duck into it. And if not, you still hit his chest. You've knocked him off balance. He's squared up, and then you can come with another punch. Use the chest as a point of contact.
No, that's exactly right.
Spider comes from all angles with his punches. But again, no matter what angle he comes from, there's one thing that stays center, and that's the center of his chest.
That is correct.
Because he is squared up in the center of the ring. Joshua Fontaine, Joseph Benjamin. Squared up over the Tecate sign in the center of the ring. Spider backs his opponent. The bigger Fountain into the corner. Chris, I know you've been there before. We've all been in there before. It looks like Fountain's getting a little tired here, a little gassed. His mouth wide open. He's cut of the lip. I'll tell you, that's no place to be in a boxing ring when you're running out of gas.
Yeah, he should try to rest on that jab a little bit. He's leading with the straight right hand, which is a power shot, and that's going to take a good bit out of him. Leading with that straight right hand. Maybe just a jab or double jab. It's maybe get his wind back and then come back with the combination.
Spider smells blood. He's sensing that Fountain's tired. He's tired. We're approaching the end of the third round. It's a close round. I might have to give that round to Spider, though, Chris. I think he was the aggressor. I think he threw more punches.
I do think so. I think he's a little less tired, but both these guys look like they're in phenomenal shape. I think Mr. Fountain, he definitely could turn this thing around. You know, in boxing, it only takes one punch, and it could turn the whole thing around. So,
one punch, and it can. Someone could hit the cabin.
That's right.
You get a little too close to the fire in this sport, and somebody can get burnt, Chris.
You are absolutely right. So hopefully Mr. Fountain's getting some good advice from his cornerman, and he'll see some tactical. He can move from and try to land that shot just right, land it flush, and it could turn the whole thing around.
Again, if he can land it flush on the chin, he needs to recover here, get his legs under him. I think he's going to have a dominant round to come out of here in Atlanta with a victory, Chris.
I do too, and I have to agree with you. Mr. Benjamin, the way he moves the head, he should just jab at the chest. I think Mr. Fountain could just double jab at the chest, like you mentioned, maybe follow that with a straight right hand to the chest and catch him right on the chin.
I agree. Double jab to the chest, either a right hand or hook off the jab. Throw a left hook right off the chest. Because Spider-Man is not a fundamental fighter. His hands are down. He's there to be hit. Nice. Chris, I'm going to tell you, it looked like the right hand did the damage, but it was a stiff jab to the nose that broke the nose first.
That's exactly right.
And it set it up. It blinded Fountain for a moment.
Sure did.
A stiff, hard, straight jab. We've been waiting to see it all night. Right there again, the power jab.
Yep.
That's not a jab to flip off top of your head. That's one to wake you up, say good morning.
Well, I see Mr. Fountain is walking into it with his momentum, and he's actually adding a little bit of power to Mr. Benjamin's jab by running right into it, leading with that straight right hand.
What? And I don't know if it's MMA background or what, but he's not catching the jab. He's catching it right off the nose, but not where he needs to be.
I agree.
Let's see if he's been taught properly. Catch his breath, takes one knee, knocked down by Spider. Chris, I've seen early on these fighters have not gone to neutral corners. It's giving their opponent time to recover, but Spider's obviously experienced veteran. You notice Spider's not even breathing hard. He's very relaxed.
Not. His conditioning level, he's calm. That's where the experience level kicks in.
If he'll throw a jab. Tremendous overhand right. The fighter's down. He's trying to get up. Referee won't let him up.
I have to tell you, Preston,
It's a good overhand right.
I felt the vibration off that fight on the table. The vibration of that punch part, it was a thud.
It was a thud. He walked into it. Again, I wish the referee and everyone wouldn't jump on the fighter. I think that he would have actually gotten up to one knee. He shouldn't have gone on, but he would have gotten up on one knee.
I think so.
Yeah. This kid's tough.
Yeah, he is. He's got a background in fighting. He's been through many wars, and I agree with you. You should have given him a chance to get up on that knee.
But Chris, it all started with a power jab. It was like a pendulum, a pole, just a stiff jab to the nose.
Well, you called it, Preston. You said if somebody would just jab, it would set everything up, and that's what happened.
It took him to the 4th round to throw a jab. Either one of them. Throwing looping hooks, nothing was landed on either party.
That's right.
What seemingly began as a counterpunch chess match ended up as a bomb match in the end.
Yes, it did. Well, let's hope that Mr. Fountain is okay, and
He's all right. Well, we'd like to see that. I think he was okay. I think he was exhausted more than anything. The man fought a great fight.
Yeah,
he just got caught because he was tired.
Well, you know what? I'll give him an A for effort. He really gave it all he had. He tried. He was in there throwing shots.
Yeah.
And, it takes a special breed to get into the ring. Not anybody's going to just jump in the ring and fight. You got to go through the training. And I think just getting in the ring says a lot about a man. And so I think that he did a good job tonight against a much more experienced Joseph Benjamin, who is now got 22 fights as a professional.
Yeah, Joseph Benjamin, 2 wins, 18 losses, and 2 draws. Now, Chris, as we mentioned earlier, a man's record does not speak volumes about who he is as a fighter. He could have fought Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones, Felix Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya. He could have fought those caliber fighters his first 18 fights. And finally, someone's going to carry him for a while. He could have instead of being the opponent, he might be the one they're trying to build.
Absolutely, and as a matter of fact, I saw Joseph Benjamin fight a few months ago, a 6-rounder, and it went to a draw. So I know he does have a lot of rounds under his belt. He's not one of these fighters that comes in and been knocked out the first or second round. He's a seasoned pro, and so he knew what he was bringing to the table tonight. I'm sure he focused and was in his zones.
A seasoned pro against a bigger MMA fighter, but experience usually carries the day in any sport.
Yes, I agree. I absolutely agree with that. I see it time and time again. You have a guy fighting in another martial form, a martial art. It's just like a boxer going to try to fight
different
Taekwondo.
Game.
It's different, and it's hard to adjust yourself to that form of fighting when you haven't done it that much. But I definitely think that Mr. Fountain has a bright career in the MMA, and hopefully he'll continue boxing. Because I'd love to see him fight again. He was really trying to crack Mr. Benjamin.
I think so, too. And he's not the easiest guy to hit in the world. That's not, Joshua could fight 100 times, and he might see a fighter like that 5 or 6 times in his career. Someone that elusive, that awkward. So he needs to stay with it, stay fundamental, do exactly what he did, listen to his trainers, and stay on top of his game. I think he could have a promising career in boxing, and if not, it's going to only add to his MMA game.
Absolutely, and I have one thing in common with Mr. Fountain. My last fight in this venue a month ago, I was stopped in the 4th round, just like he was stopped in the 4th round, and I learned a lot from that fight, and I think I gained a lot of experience, and I think Mr. Fountain, having given this opportunity against a much more seasoned boxer, I think he's going to leave tonight with a much
at
more
1 minute and 26 seconds of round number 4.
And we'll go to our ring
your
announcer
winner
for the official
by knockout,
announcement.
representing Atlanta, Georgia, Joseph Spider Benjamin.
Let's hear for Joseph Benjamin. Wow. Defending your hometown, how does that feel to come out with a victory?
First of all, I'm not cocky, I'm not confident, I'm not conceited, I'm very confident. My man was a very strong fighter. So I'm not gonna, excuse my language, we're all adults, I'm not gonna bullshit you. There was a few of those punches that kind of had me dazed. But again, my name is Spider-Man.
I've got to ask you this. I don't know if you knew, or I'm sure they told you going in, that this is a guy that was an MMA fighter. He's undefeated as an MMA fighter coming into boxing. Do you think you taught him a few things about boxing?
I didn't get into boxing until 98. Before 98, I'm a mixed martial artist myself. I have 26 different martial art styles, and I have 17 different degree black belts. Boxing is just another form of martial art, strike fighting. But I had to learn just as he had to learn. So do not put anybody underneath me because I'm small. So I never underestimate anybody, regardless of what style you know, because he's a good fighter.
Definitely is. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, Joseph Benjamin.